be educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance is bliss. Take me back to before.
Hello, and welcome back to the Clinically Average Podcast. As always, I'm Wolf. This is Rick.
Me.
Patrick. We have three mics, three people, three men, one podcast. Write that down.
Is that the title?
Jot that
I
down.
was going to say something else, but it might not have been appropriate.
That's whatever. We're here.
There's three other things hanging around here.
Three beards.
Yeah.
There's three beards.
And the
three
third beard this week, Mr. Bschrec from the Schrec Attack Podcast.
Hello, welcome, or I'm here. Welcome to you guys to your own podcast.
Welcome you to this
Yeah,
podcast.
thank you.
Welcome us to our podcast.
Nice.
As you see, we did a little renovation on the studio. I'm on a boat.
Coffee talk.
Coffee talk. This is at Real Coffee.
You don't have to tell them, man. It's like the late night shows.
This actually is real coffee.
It is coffee for real coffee. Definitely not water I poured out of this glass into this mug.
My drink has caffeine in it, but it's not coffee.
Still counts. Welcome to episode 15. If you're watching this, listening to this, reading this, is there a blog for this one?
There's no blog for this one.
There's no blog for this one, but you can check out all the other blogs at theclinicallyaveragepodcast.com. New plug, if you need to get a hold of us, want to write in, talk to us, you can get a hold of us. Our DMs are always open on all social media. If you know us personally, you can go ahead and shoot us a DM. If not, clinicallyaveragepodcast@gmail.com is available for you. We'll run that across the bottom of the screen right now. Probably a couple seconds before.
Run and tell that.
You can hear this, listen to this on Spotify.com/clinicallyaveragepodcast. YouTube, Clinically Average, or I think the official tag is at Clinically Average Podcast. Still haven't figured that
We'll
out.
figure it out.
You guys are smart.
You just search it. It shows up.
The central hub for content, information, updates, pictures, and just general things and stuff with good things
And stuff.
and stuffs is Instagram. And that's going to be at clinically_average_podcast. Unique content on our TikTok at clinically_average. And the old Facebook page, Clinically Average Podcast. The logos are the same around, so you'll know when you find it. And I don't think anyone else there is called
No one has
Clinically
it.
Average.
You just search Clinically Average somewhere, you'll find us.
Will they?
Yeah.
You can probably just Google it at this point. We're pretty big and popular in drinking.
Whenever I looked up
Coffee.
your YouTube the other week so I could watch you guys instead of just listen, you were the first clinically average to pop up.
I was gonna say,
So
but I don't think anybody's competing with the name, so.
If there is another Clinically Average out there, we challenge you. Gentlemen's duel.
To see who's more average.
Yeah. We challenge you to an average duel. Blades at the beach at sunrise.
Blades at the beach.
Yeah, like old school samurai shit.
That sounds hardcore.
It is hardcore.
I like that. Blades at the beach.
I was going to call my podcast that we established as Schrec Attack just another podcast.
Yeah.
But there were like 20 podcasts with that name. So
Oh, yeah. It doesn't surprise me.
yeah, so I was like, yeah, I guess I'm going with Schrec Attack.
I think I found one that was like white guys talking. And it's just like, yeah. that's
We
what
were
it
going to
is.
do Two Hot Goths.
Too hot
Goss.
goss. We have a wild list of names.
Yeah.
We have to do that on an episode. Go through our
That could be a
reveal,
full episode for you.
reveal all of our terrible ideas for podcast names before we came up with this.
The front runner, which before this was the Dunning-Kruger Boys.
The Dunning-Kruger Boys is like a punk rock band.
It is a punk rock band.
But we are getting way lost
Yeah.
in the sauce here.
Yeah, get it started.
So, as you'll notice, we have three people here. And if you are old school listeners of our old podcast, you might recognize Mr. Bschrec. He used to be part of the Kids with Wrenches podcast back in the day.
Yep.
So now he's here. We decided all randomly to start doing podcasts again.
Yep.
And
That, like the same time.
now he has his own. And let you plug that a little bit.
So I give more of a ranty vibe. If you're into people just bitching, that's what you come to my place for. I just released one yesterday. Well, I guess a week ago at this point.
Times of
About it's whatever. Times irrelevant about Madden, where I just for an hour straight went off on Madden and EA. So if you like listening to people bitch about stuff, let me know what you want me to bitch about, and I will do that over at Schrec Attack, wherever you get your listening podcast. I'm not on YouTube yet. Sorry, boys.
This is his debut on camera for this
for this
modern era.
Yeah.
Modern era of Bschrec.
Yeah.
We did our beards.
So yeah, go to him for all your ranting needs, but you come here for sad talk.
How do they
That's
get a hold of
true.
you if they're reaching out to you?
You can find me on all social medias at The Real Bschrec. That's The Real Bschrec. If you look it up and I'm not there, I don't have it. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram as just Schrec Attack. Once again, Schrec. I'm not an ogre. Attack. And that's how you can find me. I do have DMs available. Well, I guess DMs are more social media, but I do have an email, shrecattack@gmail.com.
Nice.
Does it go down into DMs?
It does.
They said that before.
Yeah, I mean, even me, I've been your friend for how long? I completely forgot there's a C
Yeah.
in the beginning.
Everyone
after the
does.
S. So like, I'm
Everyone
like spelling it
does.
like Shrek with an H. I'm like, oh, there's a CH.
Yeah.
Throws me up every time. Yeah,
I gotta remind people all the time, I'm not a big green ogre. I'm just big.
just a big white
Yeah, just
Big
a
white
big white boy.
boy.
Write that down.
We're
We use
recording.
that
I can't
somehow.
write all these things down. We don't have.
Jot that down.
We need Bacon, our producer, over there to write it down. Just pretend he's there. So yeah, it's kind of, we'll do a little reminiscing here. Yeah, it's been probably about like 5 years, which is kind of crazy since we were doing
Oh, God.
the old
Shit,
podcast.
it has been that long, hasn't it?
Like I think we ended in 2018.
I think Wolfie and I both had clean arms.
The last
We all
episode.
did. I didn't have my tattoos.
You didn't
either.
have your tattoos either?
The last episode of Kids with Wrenches, I sat for my first session of Zenyatta. So he's like half done and half colored, I believe. Half
Okay.
colored in.
No, we all decided to get fully bearded and tatted up after that. You know,
Yeah.
been
I
through some
mean,
shit.
I was always bearded. I'm a lot more gray now.
You are a gray
I'm
beard.
finding grays.
You get it every once in a while.
Beard looks beautiful, Wolfie. I'm
know.
kind of in a trance.
I put the stuff in it. I don't always.
I also put stuff in it. I was like, I'm going to be on camera today. So I spent like 20 minutes doing my hair. And guess what? It looks how it always looks.
I spent a good 15 doing my hair today.
I just woke up like this, and this is how I exist.
You just wake up beautiful.
Jinx.
Some things never change.
Right. But some things do change, so I guess we should probably settle on like what has changed in the last 5 years. We got Schrec here, and I know one of the things we talked about that kind of goes in sync with our topics. We kind of go is you started therapy,
Yes, I did.
and I feel like that'd be a good thing to like tie into here. So you know, you like to rage out on your podcast. That's your form of therapy. is you
Yeah,
just rage
it's
on it.
I reference the meme a lot where it's like boys will do anything to avoid therapy, including starting a podcast, and I do both.
Yeah, you can do
But
both.
one night I was in an apartment that did not have good heating or or insulation is the word, not ventilation. Had great ventilation, that's why it was so fucking cold.
Yeah,
Too much.
And yeah, and I was drunk on my floor, depressed, and I kind of was like, yeah, I can't keep doing this.
yeah.
Like, I'm getting too old. I'm getting run down. I texted somebody. I was like, hey, where do you go to therapy? Because you've been very open about it. They gave me the number, and now I do therapy. And now I don't go to alcohol for every little fucking problem I have.
Yeah.
I say fuck a lot. I'm sorry.
That's all right. We say fuck too. We try and be professional, but we say fuck.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Let's get it all out.
Shit, fuck. All right,
So
I'm
then-
good.
So, what did you find? Like, what triggers usually made you like cope with alcohol?
Any slight inconvenience in my life, I was like, I need a drink. And then
So then, as we talked outside, what constitutes a inconvenience becomes a problem is when you have consistent
yeah, and
inconveniences.
then it became a consistent inconvenience, which after you drink so much alcohol, you build up a tolerance. And then my tolerance was to the point where I was drinking 3/4 to a full bottle at a time.
and the inconveniences were happening more often, so more excuses
Yeah,
to.
more excuses to
So, like,
drink.
before when
it wasn't like before. It was whenever something was like serious. Like I could just have a really shitty day at work, which if people know what they do, like what I do, I could have had a full day of shit being thrown at me.
Literally.
But then it got to the point where because I was so heavily reliant on alcohol, somebody could like look at me the wrong way, and I'm like, "Oh, don't like that." Gulp.
And the
Drink
problem
about
is, it
that
goes like you said, it goes from like when it first starts, like maybe a shot, maybe a couple beers,
Yeah.
and you're fine. Like it's just like when you keep looking for that excuse, that tolerance kicks in, and then it becomes a problem when like, I'm having all these inconveniences where like having a beer or two isn't going to ruin
Doesn't
your day
do
or your
anything,
life.
yeah.
But when you're like, oh, I'm going to take down a bottle on a random Wednesday because I had a bad day at work and I got to work tomorrow, because it's like, how do you? Then it is affecting your other aspects of your life.
Yeah.
You wake up with a hangover every day, or you're just low energy, and it's just nothing good comes from a bunch of alcohol. It's like one of the few things we know. You're drinking poison.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any beneficial thing to you.
We all go through our coping mechanisms. I'm done with when I drink now, it's because I'm with friends normally.
It's a choice.
Yeah, it's a choice.
It's not a compulsion.
That's a good way to put it. That's why you guys are the smart ones and I'm the ranty rager.
Well, it's that thing. Like I was talking to somebody recently about the whole alcohol thing, where they're talking about doing like a year sober, and like good on them. I even asked, like, do you have like a problem with alcohol? And they were kind of like, no, I don't have a problem with alcohol. I feel like I should just probably not drink it. And it's like, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to advocate drinking.
Yeah,
sure, but it's like, at the same time, if you don't have like an actual problem, like you're describing, where I have a high tolerance, I'm drinking all the fucking time. It's like, if you're thinking, like, oh, I just don't want to drink alcohol, it's like, well, then you're kind of making it actually even kind of a bigger thing, because then all your friends got to drink. You don't have a problem with alcohol. Like, you don't have an issue. But then, like, I'm just going to not do it. It's like, you're probably going to actually cause yourself more problems, because, like, you can go, if you don't have an issue, then go have a drink or two with your friends. It's not going to kill you.
Yeah.
But if you have a problem, then you have to, like, oh, I better avoid this. It's not but if you aren't a compulsive drinker, there shouldn't be anything wrong with, like, oh, when me and my friends are going to drink, I'm going to have a few beers and just chill out and relax.
Yeah, like I'm fine with that. Like, I can go control myself now. Now, if
you don't get like a cold sweat whenever you see somebody cracking a beer.
No. Now, whenever the shots are brought out, I will say my tolerance is a lot lower now. So I still like to think that I can do shots like I did back then. We get like 3 or 4 in, and I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna bust out the latest TikTok dance, which is definitely not Liz, but
yeah, I don't know what the latest TikTok is. But
you guys are on TikTok. I'm not. You should know.
We put old man stuff on there.
We put our own content.
You know what? I will make a Schrec Attack TikTok if Wolfie does the latest viral dance for it.
We figure out what the latest viral.
We'll figure it
dance
out.
is.
We'll figure it out.
I'm trying to figure out the trending tags.
We can do it.
So, like, whenever you're into like that bout of alcoholism, let's just call it what it is. Is that where you would label it as?
Oh, I was definitely an alcoholic.
Because like I know in the depths of like my depression, my sadness, it was just like it became routine. So like you explained, like you were talking about the just like any inconvenience, whether it was a bad day or you decide to make it into a bad day so you can have a drink. I would do the same thing, but then it came to a point where it was just routine. So it's like I get out of work, literally my first stop is the bar, have a couple drinks, come home, have a couple beers there, eat, be sad, go to bed.
You made a good point there. I read that Courage to Be Disliked book, and they kind of make that, you made the point where, like, is it an inconvenience or are you making things an inconvenience? So it's like, it kind of is like, okay, I want to drink. So then you make it your goal to find an excuse to drink subconsciously. So it's like your goal is to, like, even if you weren't inconvenienced, you find a way to turn things into an inconvenience so you have an excuse to drink. Even if you don't need one, you can be an adult and say, hey, I want to go have a drink. But your mind's like, no, I need to make myself an excuse to go drink.
Even now, like, if I have a real bad day, I'm like, I could use a drink. But then I think about it, and just through like all my therapy sessions, I've learned different ways to cope. You know, you guys do it. You go to the gym. I work out more at home at this point. But like, there are other ways that you can get through your problems than just let's take down a fucking bottle.
The thing I've learned is, like, you mentioned it there. You get like a little, like, you feel that urge kick in. Like, I still struggle with all my stuff where it's like, I'll have a bad day, or I'm like, maybe I'm a little under the weather, or just something, and like I'll have that urge kick in to, like, for me, it used to like be food, or even like compulsively playing video games or something like that, where it's like, I'll feel the urge, I'm having a bad day, kind of a little rundown, and just the urge is like, I'm just gonna go get some fucking junk food and just go play a video game for like 4 hours.
My diet still sucks.
And it's like, but I have that thing when I have those urges, it's just like, I let the feeling come. It's kind of like meditation. Let the feeling come in. Don't push it out. Let it sit there. Identify it, and it'll go away on its own. Like, you don't. The more you put pressure on it, you create resistance.
Yeah, I do meditate almost daily now. So,
But I think that helps with that, because it teaches you that idea where it's
Yeah.
like, you're allowed to have bad feelings. Don't run away from them. Don't push them away immediately. Let them sit there, because then you can identify. Oh, this is just a response to something stupid. It'll pass, and then you make a more rational.
Good days.
Then you make a more rational. Okay, my body's from having this trigger. my instant thought is do this thing. Okay, the first thing you realize, okay, because that's what's happening, I do not do that thing.
Yeah.
Because that's going to now downward spiral me. So you have to let the feeling pass and then find a way to have like, your healthy coping mechanism that you like distract you from that negative thought. Like for me, it's the gym or writing or reading or something like that, where it's like, okay, I could do that, but let the feeling pass. And then I go do that other thing that I know it's going to benefit me and I'm not going to feel fucking guilty about and feel like shit about. But it sounds simple, but as we can attest, we're in our 30s, and it took us this long to kind of start making these kind of progress.
So is it like, do you internalize that thought process and like sit there, think on it, and like deal with that for a minute? Or is it a replacement of the bad habit with a good one? Because sometimes I'll be in a shitty mood or I'll feel run down, and it's instead of go get a drink, I'll just go to the gym. Now, I don't know the like clinical like applications of just replacing a habit with a good habit. I'm sure it's beneficial, but I don't know if there's like a next level down in therapy of.
I think it's two stages.
Should be doing that.
I think it's two stages. You need to identify the issue, because you say if you just, I mean, recognizing you have a negative urge is step one.
Yeah.
And if your immediate response is, okay, that's a bad urge, I'm going to go do a healthy thing. Now, sure, you are replacing a coping mechanism with another one.
Yeah, but you're not really breaking that cycle. You're just upgrading your mechanism.
I always say when people do that kind of thing, oh, you're obsessed with like fitness or whatever. It's like, well, I'd rather take that than being obsessed with heroin or fucking alcohol.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take my wins where I can get them. It's
Right.
like, but it's like, ideally is you want to be replacing these with a healthy replacement, but also knowing why you have that urge in the first place. What's that stemming from? Why do I feel this urge? Like, I think you got to do both. And so I think, like, what are you supposed to replace it with? Nothing.
Yeah.
So whenever
Right.
whenever I leave work, instead of going and drinking, I go home and stare at the wall.
I-
It's like, no, I got to
actually-
replace that void with something.
It's kind of funny that you put it that way, because I'm still working on like figuring out how to get healthier habits into my everyday life. So whenever I do have a problem, I do just kind of sit down. I don't really stare at a wall, but I sit down and I just shut my eyes and breathe for
That's
a solid
better.
5 to 10 minutes.
But I would still say that's actively better
Yeah.
than self-sabotaging.
So it's not like I'm not looking for something to do. I'm actually looking to decompress and shut down for
Which
5 to 10 minutes.
isn't inherently negative.
Yeah.
That's a good book you need is whenever he's done in a year reading Atomic Habits.
Yeah, I'm like halfway through it.
I think there's a book I asked you for like 3 months ago, and I just completely forgot about it.
Oh yeah, that one you gave me. It didn't start with you.
That's a
Yeah.
good one. I forget who read
I'm
that.
gonna be doing a topic on that in a couple weeks, but yeah.
I gotta read my Reverend book. I have a wedding to officiate in a few months, so I need to read my How to Officiate book.
You
Wait,
got
don't
time.
you get to read from that?
I don't know. I'll let you know whenever
I
I,
don't know the
read it.
rules.
I'll let you know when I read it. I've been a Reverend for a solid 5 months now, and I have not read How to Be a Reverend yet. I have until May.
Now we know how the sausage is made. These guys don't know what they're even doing.
No, take that.
Anyone can be a reverend.
Listen, it took me 5 minutes to sign up to be a Reverend. Maybe not even. They didn't even ask me if I believe in God.
Yeah, isn't it like $30 online? You print off
It
a
really-
certificate.
Yeah.
And this is exactly why I want Bacon to be my reverend if I ever get married.
Oh my God, yes.
Well, if Bacon doesn't go through the steps, I can be a Reverend.
Okay, I just want Bacon because he's just like he'll be.
I mean, I respect that.
It's for the visual.
Yeah.
I understand. Listen, like I'm going to go to a wedding and I'm going to be wearing like the suit shorts and then like a button up
With a
with
bow
the
tie.
sleeves pulled up with my tattoos showing. Yeah, with a bow tie.
Bow tie.
Bow
Always go bow tie.
Always.
That's kind of how I want Bacon to dress.
Little-
I'm gonna dress him.
Little off
I want
topic.
Bacon in a tuxedo
I'm
t-shirt.
in a tuxedo T-shirt with a bow tie.
Dope.
But yeah, we're way off topic again.
Yeah.
Well,
Welcome to Schrec Attack. This is how that'll go when we record it.
Which is fun. But yeah, back to the topic. So it's like, yeah, ideally, yeah, that's a net positive that you're actively not doing the negative thing and replacing with what I'd say a neutral thing. It's not positive. It's not negative. You're just I'm just going to not do anything, which is in a case when you're trying to recover from making bad choices, that's a positive.
Yeah.
So then it's like when you get in that phase, after a certain amount of time of you doing that, you're going to be interested in, I think a lot of people don't take time. Like we get very impatient Like, I want this thing to happen now. I want to, like, I quit doing this bad thing. Okay, well, what's my purpose? What's my good thing I got to do? It's like, well, you're not going to have a lightning bolt strike you in the dick and you all of a sudden know what you're supposed to do because you've been making bad choices for a while. So it's like, that's time for you to reflect and figure it out. And it's like, it doesn't have to have a time limit on it. Like, it can take a week, months, even years. But it's like, it is just like slow. And I always say, like, try new things. Even if, like, I think with a lot of us, we go into try new things. This is going to be my new thing. This is going to replace and it's going to fix my problems. It's like, or you can just go try this. It gets you out there. You get some experience. Maybe you don't like it.
Yeah,
try something else.
I want to say I'm almost 2 years into therapy, and I still don't have like a thing that I actually go to. Like, I don't go to the gym consistently or anything for my problems, but I'm almost too patient on my end. But like you said, it could take years, and I'm a good example of what years looks like.
Well, here's I just kind of thought this analogy. So they say, like, when you get overweight, if you become obese. I
am overbeast, technically.
We're all overbeast.
Break that down.
That'd be a cool podcast name. Overbeast. Cool brand name. So they always say, it's like, well, because people get frustrated when they're not losing all their weight immediately and getting to their dream body or getting to how they want to look. Well, they always say, you didn't get this way overnight. And in a lot of cases, they insinuate, like, if it took you 6 years to become obese, if you're doing things right, it shouldn't take you 6 years to lose it, but it's not going to take a year. It's going to take more than a year, 2 years, 3 years. It's going to take a while. So I would say from a mental health aspect, it probably works in a similar way. If you've spent 30 years just neglecting your mental health and like neglecting, like, you know, what you just thinking about the future and what you want to do with your life, I would imagine that once you like become aware of that, it doesn't just happen overnight. It took you 30 years to get to the rock bottom. It's going to take more than a year to get yourself on a path that you're really proud of.
I am my like own worst critic. Like, I'm so harsh on myself.
Yeah.
But whenever I sit down and I think about the past 5 years, like, everybody wants to talk about what are your plans for in 5 years. I don't know. But if I look at my history of 5 years, I was living with my mom. I was still drinking a lot. I eventually moved out from my mom. I lived under your roof. And you saw how I lived. I didn't leave my fucking room, dude.
You were a recluse?
Yeah. So
I didn't know you were there half the time.
I eventually moved out of there.
Walking around naked was sometimes an issue. I'm like, oh shit, Shrek's here.
I didn't leave my room. I didn't know. It's
Can't
okay.
just always be hanging dong.
We both got hanging dongs, so
It happens. There's
Sure,
3
it's
swinging
whatever.
dongs here.
yeah.
Shirt cocking it.
So
Shirt cocking
I had
right
a
now.
shirt cocking the other day downstairs. Or the dogs barking, like rabidly barking. As I woke up, I'm like, oh shit, something's going on. And all I had was, I just grabbed his shirt and I couldn't find anything around, so I was like shirt cocked it downstairs.
Nice.
then I moved into a basement
Winnie the Pooh.
apartment that was cold as shit. Still drinking way too much. Had a revelation.
You can call it a mental revolution.
Yeah, that I was drinking too much. Started therapy. Moved to where I am now. Much nicer place. I leave my room. I don't like leaving my house too much, but to be fair, there's nothing to do around here except go to bars.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah. So I know my coworkers, if they're listening, complain that I never go out, but I leave my room. That's a huge step over 2 years ago. 3 years, 4 years. Holy shit.
That is
flies.
a thing, because time works in such a fucking weird way. You can look at, because I can trace back like 5 years, and look at like 5 years ago previously. It's like, oh, I'm a completely different human being at that point. But while you're in the moment, it doesn't feel like that. Like, just the days blend into each other, you know, months become years, and you don't see the growth because you're just kind of living your life.
Yeah.
Or even if you're in a negative direction, you don't even see it. I remember I was like, when I was going in the wrong direction, I didn't know. Like, people are like, oh, how do you not know you gained like 80 pounds? How do you not know your addiction became fucking terrible? You're spending like 16 hours a day wasting it. It's like, oh, shit, I guess that's true. But while you're in the moment, you don't notice these things, positive or negative, until something makes you realize it. And then, like, even in the positive sense, it's like 5 years later, and I'm like looking back, all of a sudden I'm like, I'm going to reflect on my life. I'm like, holy shit, so much has changed in 5 years. And for me, in a lot of ways, to the better. But in the moment, I was kind of like down on myself. Like you said, negative self-talk, my biggest critic. And then, like, I actually sat down and like mapped it out. I'm just like, fuck. No, I did really well for myself these last 5 years, but my inner monologue wouldn't let me see that.
Yeah. I always tell people, like, I'm in an upward trend. Now it might be like this as opposed to this, but like as long as it's going upward and not flat or downward,
Yeah.
I need to be happy with
Atomic
myself.
Habits is about making small increments. So you want your line graph to not go like this or like even like up like that. You want it to be steady. Going that axis. Like,
But even like real actual progress, you do see plateaus, you do see dips, but you got to zoom out and look at a bigger trend. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, this week, yeah, I'll add a down week, but then you have a really good week, then you plateau for a week, then it goes up. You need to look at over a bigger span of time how that trend is working.
you want the downs to never. Each down should be higher than the last down.
Yeah.
Basically, 3 steps forward, even 2 steps back, you're still making progress from where you were at in the previous down.
Yeah.
Because then you make another 3 steps forward, 2 steps down, but you're still higher than that down.
Yeah, because there's always those memes like what people think success looks like, and it's a trend like this, but really what success really looks like, it's up, over, down, up, down,
In almost
down,
any-
up.
Almost any
Shit like
case,
that.
like professionally, like where it's like, if you look at someone who's like has overnight success, most times that doesn't last. It's like it burns out as fast as it lights up. It's like you need slow progress because most people can't handle it. If you come into money and you didn't have money, those people ruin their lives because it's just like it happens so fast. Like you get like, you can almost apply it to any analogy where like overnight anything, you because you haven't mentally grasped it. Like I just said there, 5 years of good solid progress. I didn't know.
Yeah.
And then one day it just hit me. I'm like, oh wow, I progressed in all this stuff. That's great. But if it would have happened like, in like a 3-month period, I'd probably have a mental breakdown because you wouldn't be able to handle it. You wouldn't be able to contextualize it.
So the last time I
Or
lost
appreciate it.
The last time I lost 50 pounds was the year before COVID, 2019. I was on a program. I lived with you, so you're well aware. Great program for people who want to stick with it. But I lost 50 pounds in, what was it, 5 months?
Something like that. It was pretty quick.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, this is cool, but I had to completely change my lifestyle to where I really wasn't living.
Yeah.
I was too focused on counting, and this program does a good job of counting for you, but like I occasionally at that point still wanted to drink. And it tried to cut me off cold turkey pretty much.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of overwhelming, and now I'm back to my heavier self, but I'd say I'm healthier mentally, maybe not physically technically, but I feel better.
I think that's a good baseline though, because like once you get mentally, some people can use exercise and stuff to get them to a mental place, like a mental like equilibrium. But I think in a lot of cases, it's actually beneficial to maybe work on this first. If this isn't helping, if like
Exactly.
exercising isn't helping, some people doesn't. Like for me, throwing myself in the deep end with exercise like 6-7 years ago really started to balance out my chemicals and it helped me make better decisions. But I feel like some people, they, like you're saying, it becomes too restrictive, too much, and then they're in that, and then they fall off. And then that also makes their mental health go down because, oh, I failed at this thing. I couldn't even do that. So it becomes compounding. But if you can find a way without needing like exercise endorphins and shit to get your mind right and get to a balance, then you go, okay, now I can, with a level head, approach, making healthy decisions.
And I'm now to the point where like I still want to lose weight as opposed to like I weigh 265. Full disclosure, I know I don't look like it, but I weigh 265.
You're a tall boy.
I'm a tall boy, exactly. Whenever I get down to that 200 range, it actually doesn't make sense, and I look like a fucking twig.
Some people have different body frames. It's
Yeah,
true.
so I kind of just want to lose like 30, 40 pounds at this point in that 220 to 240 range. I'd be super happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like
It comes down to your
it's-
health just in general.
Yeah.
Like some people have a higher weight. Like if Wolf got to like 160 pounds, it'd be weird.
I do.
And body recomposition too works because it's like at post COVID, like when I went into that wedding, or whenever everyone said I was looking good and I was slim, still 330.
Yeah. But compared to what
Yeah.
you look, it's all perspective.
Yeah, it's not a.
If you go up from 180 to 300 pounds, people ask if everything's okay at home.
Yeah.
If you go from 450 to 320, people are like, wow, you are skinny.
Yeah.
And I need to. The thing is, the reason I got fat was whenever I was in high school, college, I played soccer, I ran cross country, I was on track, I did tennis, all the sports that were all the cardio.
Yeah.
And then, college ended and I realized I fucking hate cardio.
Well, then your activity level drops to like nothing.
Yeah. So
But people don't change their eating habits
Yeah.
whenever their activity level drops.
And then I started to increasingly drink, which made me increasingly eat, and I did not do anything.
and your activity levels. Yeah, same thing happened to me after college.
I need a ball to chase. I realized if you invite me out to play football or something, I'm there and I will play football for fucking hours. I'll be dead after 3 plays, but I'll still go. I'll
Yeah.
still play, you know? But I'm not like and I want to get back into it whenever the weather's not 5 degrees outside.
Yeah.
I need to get back into running. I do want to get back into the gym, but I want to go do like the full body cardio,
Yeah.
the HIIT stuff.
Well, everybody likes like the static style workouts.
That's what everybody's like, oh, just go lift weights, get big. And I'm like, no, I want to be able to go up steps without losing my breath.
Yeah. I mean, it's different people. That's why there's different workout
And
routines.
some of the most important thing is something that you're going to enjoy and something that you're going to stick with. Like, I like lifting. I fucking hate cardio. I don't want to be on the treadmill. Don't want to be on the bike. When I did lose all that weight, I distracted myself with the bike watching anime. I could knock out 3 episodes of One Piece in 1 hour-long session of cardio. So I wasn't thinking. I was just pedaling and watching cartoons. But it's like, I enjoy lifting. I'll go right now and go bench press. It's fun for me. I enjoy that. But it's like having something that you enjoy. If you don't like lifting weights, don't lift weights. If you enjoy running, go running. It's finding something that you enjoy that you'll inherently stick with because you're having fun and you're enjoying it and something you like.
You're
to do.
making progress in a direction you care about.
That's
Yeah.
why I need to trick myself into thinking I'm working out for like a sports team.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I mean, whatever mental gymnastics you have to
Yeah.
do to keep yourself going. Yeah, I do similar things. Like, I'm not an athlete. I'm not going to be an athlete. But when I go to the gym, I'm like, I'm going to train like an athlete.
Like in the fall, I coached a YMCA soccer team, and I just practiced with the kids.
Yeah.
And 1 hour of working out, not saying that I was try-harding because, they were like 8 to 10, and I could just easily
You don't gotta lie to us. You dunk it on them
I-
kids.
yeah.
Gym class hero.
gym class hero over here. But
Crossing
like,
cats.
still, 1 hour went by so fast running around chasing a ball. And now, mind you, I was dying. I realized how out of shape I was, but that 1 hour went so much faster than an hour at the gym does for me.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I enjoy exercise, but if I could go get my exercise by playing basketball, I'd prefer to go play basketball.
The
just the
people I
logistics
did
of it.
turkey bowl with said they're once the weather stops being shit, they're going to do like a weekly football game, and I'm like, yeah, sign me up,
Intramural,
please.
local intramural sports. That's
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah, that's and also that's social. Get you out of the house, give you something social to do, and you're exercising.
Now you're making it sound spooky. We don't need to bring the social into it. I'm there to play
You can-
football.
You can socialize and not drink.
What?
Right?
Want to run that back?
Run that by me again. Yeah, you can socialize and not drink. It's wild.
I just want to do that.
I don't know if you
We're
can
doing
do
it
that
right now.
around here.
You can socialize without drinking or doing a podcast.
Bet. Bet.
Believe it or not.
Drinks coffee, drinks water.
This is vodka.
That's tough.
It's not. It's water.
This is that coffee alcohol drink that I don't know what it's called.
I don't know.
Never been on that.
I'm just drinking
One,
energy piss.
one of the what was it called? It was something Monkey came out with a coffee alcoholic beverage. It's actually pretty good.
I mean,
Monkey
I'm done.
shoulder?
Those are 2 things I like.
Monkey shoulder.
Maybe.
That's like a premium scotch.
It came in a can. It was like the canned iced coffee, but it had alcohol in it. It was only 5%, but
Still, that's.
see,
more than fair.
there's my alcoholic tendency. It was only 5%.
We're getting ready. We're getting back into the alcohol.
I'd rather just drink coffee now. I do need 1 cup a day of coffee. I'm a coffee addict.
Oh, I have to have coffee. I can't go without caffeine. Even if I don't need the caffeine, it's just like it's
I was
ritualistic.
gonna say
at this point.
I don't think coffee actually does anything to me anymore. I think I'm just
I think it's placebo
Probably,
at this
yeah.
point.
yeah. I think I'm just trained mentally where if I don't get my coffee, I'm going to drag ass all day.
Yep. It's placebo, I think, for me at this point. It's not actually making anything fire any differently.
Yeah, if you need that, you need that.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like where I was talking to somebody the other day about like with exercise. Like, oh, maybe you're like getting unhealthy about like how you do. I'm like, no, like I don't think it's unhealthy. It's like I enjoy it.
Don't bump the table.
It's ritualistic. What are you doing?
camera.
It's ritualistic, and like if I don't do it, like it's not hurting me to do it. So that's as they were trying to give me this point. I do get a little bitchy when people try and make arguments for not exercising. They're like, well, you're just replacing a bad habit with a good one, but you're making it a bad habit. I'm like, it's making it a bad habit that I go do cardio and work out for an hour a day. I'm not sacrificing anything important to go do it, and it makes me feel better.
I'm trying to see how they can make this an argument.
Yeah, but I've had this like so many times with people where it's like, I think you're a little too obsessive about it. Like, me taking an hour out of my day.
You are like the top gym goer at our gym.
Yeah, but like, I don't. Here's the thing. Talk about like inconveniences causing problems. Nothing about me going to the gym 6 days a week for an hour is having a negative effect on my life. It's not ruining my relationships. It's not ruining my health. It's not ruining my other responsibilities. And it's like, I don't see this. It seems like a weird coping thing for people who are like, well, you're just replacing drinking with this. I'm like, it's not having any negative effects.
If you replace drinking with exercise,
That's what I was asking before on the therapy route.
I'm trying to connect the dots on how that's bad, though.
So it's like, no, it's not. We're definitely making an upgrade. We see all the positives. We're on the same page there.
Yes.
But I guess, is that the point clinically, like how the brain works? And we would need insight from.
Are you going to say the title of your podcast?
No.
I got excited there for a second.
Oh, man, I could have, but it didn't. So I'm saying, like, from like a clinical aspect, like, yeah, are you replacing one vice with another? Yes, your new vice is better, healthier, giving you positive results. But like, is there, and this is the thing, I'm speculating because I don't know, but is there some level of psychology that says that's just, you're still feeding that feedback loop?
You've replaced your alcohol, drug, chemical with endorphins.
So yeah, obviously we understand that upgrade, that habit change is an upgrade.
The person I was talking to made the point like, oh, I knew somebody who had like a fitness obsession and like to the point where like they got hurt and couldn't go for a bit and they literally just like went into like a suicidal depression.
Sure, I can see.
And I was like, okay, like, I get your point here. Like, so I've become too. So what happens if all of a sudden tomorrow I can't go for an extended period of time? Does my whole life fall apart?
Yeah, you snap your leg and you can't.
And it's like, would I have a negative effect on me? Yeah. I mean, even if I didn't go to the gym, if I broke my leg tomorrow, I'd be.
I was going to say, I don't go to the gym daily, and if I broke my leg, it would have a pretty negative effect.
I think that's kind of universal. You get injured, that's going to have a negative effect on your mental health.
The actual aspect of now you can't go to the gym.
Yeah, I'm sure I would have residual negative effects for it. And then I guess I would have like 2 months to sit up in my house and wonder why I need to cope with the gym. But even when I come back to that, it's just like, what am I using that to cope with? I'm not quite sure because I didn't really have a void before that. It was like because like I said, I still think about as we do with this podcast, I think about my mental issues. Mm-hmm. I think about why I do these things. I just come to the point where like, I look at like the gym as supplementary. I'm doing well. This makes me feel even better and more clear-headed to do the other things in my life that I like to do. I don't see any cons to it. It's kind of where I come to, where it's just like, it's like, okay, if somebody goes, but I have been in a point where I had a negative relationship with it because I had like terrible body dysmorphia. Mm-hmm. I would go for like 3 hours a day and like I was starving myself, I had an eating disorder. Yeah, I went down a really bad, unhealthy rabbit hole with fitness, but now I'm at a point where like, I just like going. But it's not like obsessive to the point where if I don't go, I might go suicidal.
I mean, I wasn't that far down the rabbit hole, but there were the COVID sessions, as I like to refer to them as, was certainly, we built a gym in our garage, and I was there 4 hours a day. Mm-hmm. Like,
in your case, I would say, like, what else were you going to do? You were trapped in your house all day.
True.
COVID was a really good excuse for me to drink a lot more.
COVID was sick, and we drank a lot. There's not a lot of calories in gin and tonics.
I don't have the experience with COVID the way everybody else does. Like I said, we still were open in my life. Kind of.
I still worked, but
I worked
in my
like
time
usual.
off work, there was nothing else to do.
I think I played a lot of video games in 2020.
I play a lot of video games too.
Like I remember just kind of like I'd go to work. I couldn't go to the gym because it was closed, but I'd go for like I'd usually leave work, go for a run. I was doing like home workouts, like body weight workouts, and then I would just kind of sit and play.
That COVID year was weird because it was actually like really good for me. I know I just said I drank a lot during it, but
I had a great 2020. I remember it was really good. For
in
me.
2020,
Sick.
I was still at the beginning of 2020 before everything shut down. I was still drinking a lot at bars, and then COVID happened, and I just ended up buying alcohol and bringing it home and drinking it. But then I eventually picked up more shifts. I moved in with you, and I got a little bit more active. I didn't leave my room, but I think you can agree I did not drink as much at your place as
Unless
we
you were
would
hiding
think.
it. No, I didn't really see you
Yeah, so
or smell it or anything like that.
So, like, did the COVID shutdown have a shift in your like mental health?
I think it did, and I think where it affected most people negatively, it affected me positively.
I had a huge positive mental
Yeah.
boost during COVID. I always compare it to like I get a positive mental boost this time of year. Like people get like seasonal affective disorder.
Yeah,
I get it the opposite. Whenever it's cold and like this,
I do feel a lot better.
I
than
feel
winter.
better this time of year. I'm more active. I am more positive. Like when summer hits, I get like seasonal affective disorder in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
I get summer sad. It's too hot. It's light until
That's
9
how
o'clock.
I am.
I'm a bit nocturnal. I like the dark.
Yeah.
I'm emo. It's like everyone's out being happy, ripping their shirts off and going out on boats. I'm like, fuck you guys.
Then it's-
I want to hide in my library and read
What,
and be a fucking vampire.
Every time it gets dark and colder, you just
Oh, I love
welcome
it.
this-
Dude, it's
When
so
fall
good.
hits, I get like
Welcome the
giddy
fuck out.
like a
No,
child
listen.
ready for Santa.
What
I'm
he's
so
saying,
excited.
Fall and winter is so much better.
I
than
love it.
Summer.
I am in my element right now.
Yeah.
I
late
love this
summer,
shit.
is
early
great.
fall.
Like,
That's the move.
Like I can deal with like early spring. That's about my limit. As soon as like May hits, I'm done.
Same.
May through August, I'm very
too
much.
hot.
I'm sad and annoyed, and
It's too hot. Too many people want to do things.
yeah, and it's just light till 9 o'clock. Where I'm like ready to like. I have a hard time like going in my cave when it's light out. I get like some kind of weird like guilt. Like it's light out. I should be doing something. I think that's like from growing up with my family who are like these like hardworking, being outside types.
Now you got to be outside till 9:30.
So it's like, oh, I can be productive till 5 o'clock. That's fine. But it's like 9. It's like, man, it's 9. It's bright out. It's warm out. I could go do some yard work. Fuck. But I don't have to worry about yard work. This time of year, it's covered in snow.
why don't you just
I did have to shovel the sidewalks this morning.
I don't even do that.
read outside?
I tried, but it's too hot.
Oh, your place is a lot less public than mine.
I mean, yeah, I do live.
I had to.
Why don't you just shirt cock it outside with your book?
It's too hot.
You know,
To
I-
shirt cock?
Yeah.
You know what I need to do whenever
That's
we
illegal.
hit
I
that
can't sure cock
not
it outside.
Arizona.
we hit that winter to spring where it gets up in like 40s, 50s. Need to come smoke a cigar with Bear.
Yeah.
I have not smoked a cigar with Bear in a while.
But yeah. I forget what we were on before we went on that.
So
tangent.
how was your shift in COVID? How was the shift in your mental health? Like you said, there was a significant change.
Yeah, I think what it was I couldn't go anywhere. I went out weekly, sometimes 2 to 3 times weekly with my friends, and whenever pre-COVID,
Okay.
and then during COVID, everybody stayed home. We had a once a week meeting on Zoom where we would all drink together, but after a while that kind of got old, and then we all just kind of realized like there's more to life than going to the bar because we can't go there.
Well, you were forced to kind of take that. I think
I honestly think if there was no pandemic, I'd still probably be a fucking mess.
No, I think this is actually a fun conversation to like really dig into this. I feel like COVID, if I look back, was a big pivoting point for me also, and it led coincidentally into another thing that became a huge life lesson for me. I'm not going to go down that lesson, but I don't meet a certain person if it wasn't for COVID who then kind of changed my life in a lot of wild ways. And it's like, oh, so like it was a lot of good, a lot of bad, but then ultimately, like the ultimate good came from it, which is like, oh, this all started because of fucking COVID for me. Like looking back, if we go like 10 years from now, we look back at like our 2020, it's like, oh, this is like a pivot point for me. Like my whole life kind of hinged on how that year went, and it changed everything. It was such a pivot point for me.
Yeah, and I
'Cause
don't.
you have to reflect. You're forced to. It was a cultural reflection point. We were all kind of forced to kind of do a therapy in a way.
Yeah.
Because we're all kind of you're stuck with yourself. You have to think. You are forced to think because you have less things to distract you.
I don't game as much with my friends now. Like I'm much more reliant on myself than I was. It's just, I think COVID overall was a positive thing. It may divide the country, but that was happening either way.
I think I could probably honestly this is probably a good topic idea because like I think if I sit down here and really dissect from a cultural standpoint how that affected us as a culture, but I think as a lot of people as individuals, and even you can even look at like they had like the 2023 was considered like the highest year for breakups, like divorce, long-term relationship ending, and they contribute a lot. They think to COVID, because like even like for divorced people who were together for a long time, but then were forced to have their relationship change, where they were maybe like up each other's ass. They're like trapped in their house. They weren't going to work maybe.
Oh, I actually don't like you.
Yeah, and they had to be forced to like confront their feelings with their partner. Like, I kind of don't like this person.
It is really cool splitting the bills with you, but
I feel like this is a marriage of convenience. I don't know if I actually like you as a person, because
Yeah.
now we're forced to see it. And I think a lot, so that happened in relationships, but I think it happened for a lot of us individually. We were forced to sit with ourselves and like, I kind of don't like this. I kind of don't like this about me. I don't like that I have to do this shit. I don't like that this is my coping. I don't like that this is where my brain goes when I'm by myself. And I think it was a big cultural reflection point for a lot of people.
I'm almost too comfortable being by myself now, to the point where like if I'm talking to somebody and we have our first, like I get the first red flag out there.
Oh, yeah.
Or like we have our first fight and it's something where I'm like, yeah, this is something I just don't want to deal with. I immediately am like, I'm cool by myself, like deuces.
So like,
No, that's a good thing.
that's a really healthy thing. But like I did the comparisons, like 2020, I got to the point where, like you said, I was almost too comfortable by myself. So like me and you, we go get the house, like it's always bachelor pad. Me and Schrec gonna have like a little bachelor pad here thing. But like, I was super comfortable by myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Let's try. And then, then I get into a relationship for 3 years. And after that relationship ended, my whole goal was like, how do I get back? Because now I'm like living like where I'm like, in a codependent situation for like years. And I was like, okay, how do I get back to where I was in 2020? I was fucking in it. I was in the zone. I was locked in. I liked who I was. Like, but now it's like, okay, now I get to be, I'm back to that person, but with even more perspective. I'm like, oh, I'm a leveled up version of who I was in 2020, which was what I wanted to be, but had added years of experience on top of that. But I'm back to that point, like, oh, I just generally am comfortable being by myself and generally doing the things I want to do,
But
and not rely on anybody else.
To us, three thoughtful guys, we recognize that as a good thing. We can rely on ourselves. To others,
It's not scary.
I haven't been in a Facebook official relationship in 14 years, and everybody's like, "You need to try to date. You need somebody." I'm like, I don't need anybody, and that's okay.
That's unhealthy to need someone.
Yeah.
You need to get to a point where you want somebody and somebody else wants you. They don't need you.
Yeah.
It needs to be an additive to your life, because that's before I was in my last relationship. It was, and not like, I think we went over this on another episode, but it was like I was by myself, comfortable with myself, slightly segregated from everyone, because I was living in Pittsburgh by myself with a new job where I didn't know anybody. Like, 40 minutes up the road, and I'm back here with everybody I know. But it's like really being isolated down there, but being totally comfortable is a good place to be in. Not like, I don't know that, like you were saying, the term too comfortable with being by yourself, because that's where you want to be. You need to be happy, healthy, and love yourself.
I think too comfortable is when you get complacent.
Yeah.
And I think where I've reached that point where I'm comfortable by myself, but it doesn't mean I'm just lazily laying around my house ordering pizza and kicking my feet up and doing nothing. I think you get too comfortable. It's like, oh, I'm happy by myself.
Okay.
And I'm happy just doing this forever. It's like, no, I'm happy with my own company. I don't have these like intrusive thoughts making me, oh man, you're going to die alone. Like, I don't have like that overwhelming voice in my head. Oh, you're going to die alone. You need somebody. Oh my God. It's like, no, I'm fine. I'm cool. And I'm also going to go to the gym. I'm also going to work on this project. I'm going to go do this. I'm very
Maybe that's it. Whenever you get single to a certain point, you're just way too comfortable with all the single jokes, and people are like, "Aren't you scared to die alone?" And I'm like, "Nah, I just accept it. It's gonna happen." And they're like,
I mean, even if you're in a relationship, you're ultimately going to die
"Ooh,
alone.
that's dark." And I'm like, I'm a
I would
dark
rather die
person.
alone than die with someone who doesn't actually like me.
That's
Yeah.
true.
That's the thing. Like, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable being a person. I'm comfortable being my own person within myself, taking care of myself, and doing things and adding other people into my life that I want in my life.
I'd rather die as my authentic self
Yeah.
than die
Yeah.
like, people pleasing other people.
I
I
am-
don't need a codependency. I don't need someone. I don't need to be in a relationship for the sake of being in a relationship.
Which a lot of people do.
When it becomes an additive to my life, and the same thing on their end, I think there's a dynamic to that, is where when two people are comfortable, confident, and capable of being with themselves, and then they come together as an added, like, oh, I like hanging out with you. I like hanging out with you. Let's hang out a lot.
And I think you were saying, like, that's what I look for. Like, you spot like red flags instantly. And usually the red flag is some sign of like codependency of someone who's like, oh, this person's like very desperate, or this person's like really clingy. And it's like, oh. When I was younger, I would have taken that for love. I would have confused someone wanting my attention like 24/7.
They love me so much, I have to be there 24/7.
It's like not looking back, no, it's probably a mental disorder.
Yeah.
But like I would take that as look, because I didn't have that kind of confidence in myself to be by myself. And now that it's cliche, loving yourself. But like, now I'm like, oh, I'm comfortable with myself, I'm fine. And someone comes bringing that weird like anxious energy. I'm just like, no, I know how this goes. You're gonna rely on me to be like your mental upkeep. No, I'm in a good place. If you can't keep your shit together, I don't want to deal with it. But I think you start meeting people who are in our similar boat. We're in our 30s. People are going through their first divorces. We're all kind of like finding ourselves again in our 30s. And it's like you're gonna find somebody who also most likely had a lot of the revelations you've had. They've gone through some bad relationships. And it's like, oh, now I've learned to be independent. I've learned to be independent. Well, now we can be independent, but together, not. We're both terribly anxious and depressed, and then you get together and you become codependent, and then you kind of just drain each other of all your fucking energy.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I don't want that. I'm good. I like where my energy's at. I don't want you to take it from me.
So continue to not ignore those red flags.
That's a good sign.
And when you see those red flags, continue to go ahead and allow those red flags to be red flags. And
Don't try and color them.
I know
Trust your
everybody.
instincts.
I know everybody has a red flag. I'm sure I have plenty of red flags myself, but like, I'm to the point where I'm like, if I see a red flag, I'm like, all right, we need to address this.
Yeah.
And then it turns into like a fight, and I'm like, all right, if this is how we handle our red flag talks.
Yeah. That's exactly like the adult way to handle it.
I'm just gonna walk away. I don't feel the need to explain this to you. Like, I'm not your father.
Like,
that's wildly more healthy and mature than a lot of people will ever understand.
They think you're being cold. It's like, no, I've seen how this goes. And if you can't have a conversation like an adult about your issue, because a lot of times like, oh, it's just about me. It's like, no, we all have issues. And I respect someone who can call me out and be like, hey, that seems a little shitty what you're doing. And like we talk like, oh yeah, fair enough. We should talk about that. But if you do that to somebody and I call them out and they just get immediately defensive and like, no, fuck you. It's like, this is silver lining. This isn't going to work out. There's no need to even see this any further.
Yeah. The last one didn't work out, and then, like, I calmly explained my end, and then the next like couple of days I would text her, and then she just gave me those shitty like one-word answers or like the ha-has.
Yeah.
And I eventually got to the point where I just didn't reply to those, and then she didn't make an effort to reach out to me, and I was like, all right, this might seem like a shitty way to go about it, where we just kind of ended up phasing out and ghosting each other.
That's called a situationship.
We don't like. I didn't feel the need to go out of my way. Like, I'm good by myself.
It's closure enough as it is. That's like kind of gives.
And a lot
That's
of
what
situations,
whenever I talk to a lot of
situations,
people,
that's the best you're gonna get.
Yeah. Whenever I talk to people, I was like, should I reach out for closure or should I just be cool with that closure? And they're like, you're good.
How it ends is usually, in my experience, that's the closure you need. And to chase it, it's probably just going to cause you more grief.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, this is how it is. Like, usually you can call it how you see it.
So
if you take your emotions out of it.
Whenever I talk to people about it, they were like, do you feel the need for more? I was like, no, but it does feel like I didn't do it properly. And they're like, if you don't feel the need for more, you have closure. And I was like, okay, I have closure. Cool.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to make it. Sometimes you got to make your own closure. That's usually the healthiest way to go about it, because bringing other people, getting someone else to basically tell you how to get closure, it's like, well, that's like an unreliable narrator. Because I know I had that in a recent experience where it was like the person like kind of like, I told him like months I wanted closure. I wanted some kind of closure, even though I had the answers. I had my closure, because how a relationship ends, that's typically that's what it is. You don't have to read in, you can read into it there. But then the person tried to give me closure. And I was like, oh, this is actually going against the actual reality narrative of what actually happened. Now you're just kind of making it more confusing. And it's like, now this does not feel like closure. This feels like reopening a wound. And it's like, no, I was better off just not picking at that scab.
Yeah.
And it's like, a lot of times we pick at the scabs and it makes it worse. It's like, nah, if it didn't work out, it didn't work out. And if you have to talk someone into giving you closure, it's like, well, right there's a sign right there.
Yeah.
It's not a person you want to associate with.
You never want to come to like I need closure, and I want to hear that dirty little mouth say it. Like that is the exact route you do not want to take.
It's never going to be
Talk dirty to make me that closure, babe.
right.
No, I do agree. Like a good way to put this is as 3 tattooed men, we have learned not to pick at our scabs.
Yeah, I try not
Picking
to.
at scabs is bad.
Never pick your scabs. Rub it gently with a paper towel.
I was told to tap it gently.
Put some aloe vera on it.
Rub some dirt on it. Walk it off.
Yeah.
No, that's toxic. We have healing balms. You can put on it.
Toxic's a song by Britney Spears. Come on now.
Yeah. I don't know one thing about Britney Spears. That's sad.
That is sad. But this is the
She's alive, dude.
What?
She's alive.
Yeah.
Just not doing well.
this is the sad boy podcast we've established just at the beginning.
There's always a
always
lot
sad.
in my heart.
I mean, that's good. You can keep her there. But I feel like we're winding down here, so no sense in getting into another big, deep topic. Because
Fair.
Closing thoughts on your mental health journey?
Well, if I'm still just mesmerized by your beard,
You want to touch it?
kinda.
Don't.
Okay.
It is greasy.
I respect your
It's really
boundaries.
greasy. Look at it glistening from
Is
my
it
beard.
the
to my
beard
hand.
oil?
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
the flavor though.
Yeah.
What's it? Doesn't really smell.
that's a weird sniff your own
Yeah,
beard.
well,
Can't get my beard up
sniff
there.
your
I
own
need
beard?
to
If
grow
I
my
can
beard
smell
out
my
more.
beard, usually I just mean I need to get a shower
should I
because
stop
I shouldn't smell.
sniffing my beard?
I mean, you can do what you want, man.
I'm an adult.
You do what you feel you need to do.
I'm at the point where my hair is growing to cover up my receding hairline.
Nice. I wouldn't even know you have one.
That's why my hair's long. It's doing its job.
Genius.
Mine's received the whole way to my back because I just shaved my head now. I don't care anymore. I think I look better with the bald head.
I like you with a bald head. Last time I saw it, we were looking like old kids with wrenches stuff. I forgot he even had hair because I'm just so used to him being bald. And we were looking like, oh, you know what? Actually, the bald's an improvement.
Yeah, I like the bald.
It looks way better bald. Some people have the bald look. I don't think I can pull it off. So
I don't think I could either.
I'm glad my hair is staying because I don't think I pull off the bald look.
Like my hair is receding, but it's still thick.
It's thick.
I was trying to do the fashionable thing where people have their hair like the Gordon Ramsay where his hair just kind of floats out.
Mm-hmm.
It's too thick. It's too heavy. It won't float out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a hairdresser.
And if I do get it to float out, it looks like a fucking unicorn horn. It's not a good look for me.
Yeah. No, I have a hard time doing shit with my hair. I just kind of comb it over. I don't like, when it was long, it was a fucking pain in the ass.
To answer your question though, my mental health is in a good spot.
It's good.
Yeah. How's yours?
Better.
Good.
Always. But that's the thing. It's always.
It fluctuates.
It's a continuous improvement.
Yeah.
It's never. It's a journey that doesn't end. It's always. There was some TikTok I saw where someone, as a part of their identity, said, currently in mental recovery, and then like the clap back to that was, aren't we all continuously trying to be better and can like
Well, it should
always
be.
and ever, always and forever continuously recovering from things that were bad that we didn't know were bad, unlearning, learning new tactics, and we're always trying to become better. We should be. A lot of people aren't.
Yeah, I find it kind of weird when people are like, it's like the conversation we're having, like some people are just kind of like, they don't do this kind of stuff.
No.
Like, not making it necessarily a judgment call on that. It sounds wonderful in a lot of ways. But it's like, how do you go to the point where you just never take account of any of this kind of stuff? Like, you just don't, like, I want to be in the body and brain of someone that we would describe as, like, blissfully ignorant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know how that works. Like, I'm triggered by almost anything. Like, anything I'm doing, if I listen to a song, it can change my mood. If I'm listening
That's
to
true.
it can change my mood. It makes me start thinking about all kind. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, my brain's just like a spider web of just like, oh, I'm going to talk about this. Oh, now I'm thinking about this, and the emotions change with the fucking minute.
Sometimes my mood changes my mood.
Yeah, like
I'll literally
that
be
is
like,
true.
wow, I'm in a shitty mood. Better stop, and I get in a good mood.
it's like, I was like
I have
talk
a
about
mood disorder, that's why.
Or like things are going too well. I better get pissed off real quick.
Yeah. Oh, I better be grumpy.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
Riding
I
this wave
imagine
too.
it must be nice, like being where you don't think that way. But I was talking to somebody earlier, and they were saying the same thing. I don't know how people just like go through their day and like nothing triggers a deep thought ever. It's like because like you'll be talking about like, you know, like we'd like psychoanalyze somebody. Like like I read all the psychology books. Like me and him joke all the time. Like I'll predict what someone's gonna do, and then Wolf's like, oh wow, you called that. I'm like, well, it's just basic human biology and like psychology. People follow patterns. They do this kind of shit. You can kind of figure out it's not magic. But then I was telling a friend that, and she was like, "Yeah, but most people don't think that way. They get their whole day. They don't think any deeper past surface level than like the show.
What's it like being neurotypical?
And then it's
Let us know in the
weird.
comments
But then they
below.
get weird. They get weirded out whenever
Yeah.
they hear me talk that way. They're just like, "You think about that kind of like? What do you think about all day?"
What do you mean? Do you think about that
I don't
stuff?
know. I saw a truck and I liked the truck.
Well, yeah, and I hate to sound pretentious because that's what I
don't fucking
do you,
know.
Like, do you
I-
think like my 7-year-old where he's like, car go boom into other car. I'm like, me watch guys hit heads off each other in a football game. Yay! I'm like, even if I'm watching a football game, I'm like thinking about deeper shit than that. Even while I'm watching it, I'll think about like the reaction of like the coach on the sideline. Like, oh, I wonder what he's thinking about. Oh, wow! Like, I look at their reactions of the players and like think about the emotional feedback I'm getting from it. It's like, or like put everything like in a story. Like, watch wrestling. There's stories behind it. There's like a thematic story going on behind everything. And in real life, there's a thematic story going on. If you look, you can see it. And people are like, "No, car go boom, go fast." I'm like, "Yeah, car do go fast."
And boom.
I feel like
Yeah,
it's
but
all
it's just
like,
like,
yeah, buddy, car do go.
but my brain doesn't
Car
just stop
fast.
there. I can make that surface level observation of something. That car's going fast.
Do cargo
But
boom?
I'll think, why is that motherfucker driving so
gotta-
fucking reckless on the highway? Does he have a death
was-
wish?
I was-
Is he? Like, I'll start like
he
psychoanalyzing
running from
that
something?
guy.
You gotta,
Who's
you
he
gotta open
running
up to
from?
him. Like, does cargo boom because it's got loud subwoofers, or does cargo boom because it crashed? Like,
What kind of?
let's open up your boom definition.
Yeah, because like I'd be around people where I'll be saying like that right there. Somebody speeds by me on the highway. They're doing like 100. It's like their reaction is, "Oh, that car go fast." I'm like, "That car do go fast," but he's kind of a fucking asshole. And why does someone drive like that? You're gonna get there. And then, I'll start
Homie,
criticizing.
why are you zooming in the zoom?
But they're
Like,
like-
so fucking zoom.
I
But
do
they're
that.
just like, I don't care. Why do you even think about that kind of stuff? I'm like,
See, I'll go.
why am I the weird one? Why am I the weird one? Because I'm like wondering what's making that dude who is already doing the most dangerous thing on the planet, which is drive your car, drive it 2 times faster than everyone else. And we're just like, that's normal. That car go fast. And I was like, yeah, why? Why is he doing
Car
that?
is
They just
zoom
make,
in.
They just make a one-liner joke. Oh, he's in a hurry. But then I'm thinking,
Like, yeah,
maybe
why is he
he's
in a hurry?
Then I get empathetic. I was like, maybe something's going wrong. I wonder if I can help.
Yeah,
Does
like,
he need
I
to get
do these
somewhere?
kind of thought
the hospital's
processes.
that way. If he's flying that way, maybe I get it.
Does that make me a crazy person? But I'm talking to neurotypical people. They make me feel like I'm a crazy person. I'm like, I think you're crazy for not adding any more context to this.
I do my best to keep my thinking simple, and it just doesn't happen.
No, that's what I mean. Because like I was talking to a person earlier, I'm like, the thing that's weird is like she's like they're probably way happier or like way more like less stressed out. I'm like, sure, but what makes some people? Because I've been thinking this way since I was a little kid. That's what she was saying. I just kind of came into this kind of consciousness at like 10 years old, and I've always thought this way. I'm like, the problem is once you start thinking that way, you can't stop. You can't pretend to like not think about these things. It's like, I couldn't just like numb myself to not thinking about it. That's just inherently how my brain works.
I know there are, because I am very much like the less I know, the better. And it's very much because I overthink everything.
There's certain topics like if someone okay, for an example, if someone like wants to give me some hot gossip on somebody I know, and I get in the situation, it's going to go somewhere dark. I'm usually like, I'd rather not. Like, don't tell me that. In those kind of instances where there's too much about a person's personal life, that like that's going to make me think less of them, and I have to be around them. Maybe don't.
Very
share that with
often,
me.
I'm like,
But then my brain, I'm like, well, now I'm already kind of thinking about it, and now I just
now,
won't
now I
stop.
need more details to figure this out.
I'm very often like, if we just cut off the details here, maybe I won't think about it.
But then you do.
Then I do.
Because then the mystery's there.
The seed is planted.
But I can normally get over in a few days.
Well, yeah. For me, because I'm on to the next thing.
Yeah.
My ADHD brain is now, I'm latched onto another hyper obsession. And it's like, okay, I forgot about that obsession.
My
Follow
ADHD,
the dopamine.
so my ADHD brain found this guy on YouTube is trying to create like a mini rainforest. Not to get too far off topic. I know we're trying to wrap this up.
Oh
but,
no, I'm just dicking with my phone. You're fine.
it's the fidgeting, but he created like a mini environment. He has like a 10-foot by 6-foot by 10, or I guess 3 feet deep terrarium. Yes, and he has a bunch of rainforest animals in there, and he continuously adds and takes away to see how the animals and environment reacts.
Yeah.
And I finally caught up to the point. He releases like weekly episodes. And I finally caught up to the point where like I'm current. So my ADHD brain right now is currently like, I wonder how the ants are reacting to the fish that are in the water.
Oh, do I have the fucking TikTok channel for you? This dude has like this weird like storm drain or like bunker or whatever, and it like consistently gets flooded out. So there's like always water down there. So he just turned it into like this giant walking aquarium.
Mm-hmm.
He has catfish, crayfish, all these little eels and shit, and it's just like this bunker he like climbs down into is just an entire like aquarium.
That sounds sick.
And he's just like, oh, we've acclimated. And then he gets like the comment section and stuff like, oh, he has this albino crayfish. I forget what they named it. But it's like, oh, it's acclimated. We're going to release it into the main pond.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, oh, then we get updates on it. And like this one eel, like Steve the eel or whatever, it's like, oh, he came up and he ate something. And then he slithered back under. And now he always hangs out by this rock.
Yeah, the guy, the last episode, he added aquatic life because it's a rainforest and he has a little pond in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has like invasive ants and like normal ants that just stick to their own territory. And the invasive ants are about to go to war with the territory ants. And I'm just like, I want to know who the fuck's going to win.
Right.
I find out tomorrow
It's just
morning.
like a live action anime.
Yeah, it's with animals. And he like rotates apex predators. Right now he has some kind of lizard in there. But I think a tarantula is
Kind of
next.
like real life Pokemon.
Dude, it's so cool.
But speaking of YouTube and TikTok, we have a good YouTube and TikTok you guys can check out at Clinically Average.
At Clinically Average Podcast on YouTube.
I don't have a YouTube or a TikTok.
But you can see Schrec on our YouTube. But you can also, if you want more of this guy, we're going to be on his podcast, Schrec Attack. Which is on
Schrec Attack.
Spotify. No video. You don't get to see our faces. On
No
that one.
video, but it is wherever you get your listening podcast. And if Wolfie will do the latest viral TikTok dance, you know what? Suggest it in the comments.
Nice.
Wherever.
I'm going to clip this part out.
Shirt cock.
I will create a Schrec Attack TikTok.
We can start that trend, the shirt cock and dance. See if that
Put it
gets
on a shirt.
It's a lot of editing. A lot of blurring. A lot of blurring.
So yeah, that's how you get me to have a TikTok. But yeah, I think Rick's going to hurt me. I think that's the game plan.
Attack Schrec.
Last minute plugs. At Schrec Attack, at Real Bschrec, at Schrec Attack Schrec.com /Schrec Attacks and
If you put
Are you having a stroke?
Yeah.
if you put those
I
combination of words, and you'll eventually find
I
me.
Attack. Apparently, if you just type Clinically Average, in, you'll find us.
Yeah, you
No one
definitely-
else tried that.
Yeah, you definitely overcomplicated.
I
Have you
think-
never looked up our thing?
I've never just straight Googled it.
Yeah, you just
I
any
always-
search engine on any platform, it comes up. You don't
I always
have to
feel
worry
like
about it.
since
Bad.
mine is, me, my phone is going to just favor me. I've never seen anybody else try to search Schrec Attack, see if I'm actually somebody
spell
that
it right,
pops
Will.
up. SCHREC.
But
Or clinically, I can't spell clinically. That's too complicated.
if you want more of this conversation, we're going to be continuing this on Schrec Attack. Bye.
Bye.
Mwah.
Gross.
That is gross.
I wish I knew how much I miss not knowing that we're all screwed when we play our roles and ignore the problems. I wish I knew